Pablo Sanders Jr. was riding his bike. He had the green light when he was hit by a car. The owner of Midwest Cyclery says Sanders Jr. is well known in the Kansas City cycling community.
Unbelievably happy, always smiling, a heart of gold, just a truly, truly good human.
As Pablo remains in the hospital, his friends have set up a GoFundMe page. They're asking for donations to help with medical expenses and believe he will eventually get back on his bike. A family is looking for justice this morning. They say the body of their loved one was found on Christmas Eve in a pond in East Kansas City. Walter Robinson Sr. says his brother Thomas Robinson Jr. was last seen on December 13th at the Whispering Lake Apartments in East Kansas City. A group of family and friends searched the area around the apartment complex Tuesday. Nearly 2 hours into the search, the family says they found Robinson's body.
When I see all these killings, I'm usually sad about it anyway. But when it comes to somebody you know, it's just terrible. And it's terrible for all of those murders that are going on. You know, we got to do something that to make it stop.
While family members say it's him, Kansas City police have not identified the body. A spokesperson told 41 Action News a death investigation is still ongoing.
Well, after yesterday's inch and a half of rain, we have moved into the fourth wettest calendar year of all time, 53.21 inches. Now, we're pretty much done with the rain for 2019. But what about the snow? There is a chance tonight. We're going to talk about that coming up.
Good morning, everybody. This time of the year is always an exciting time from high school hoops, and one of the best tournaments out there took place in Liberty yesterday. It's Ruskin and Grandview Christian facing off in the William Jewell Holiday Classic. The Ruskin Eagles playing great defense in this one. Tyrone Moore comes up with the steal. He finds Tavion Banks for the layup. Grandview Christian also played some great defense. Josu Grullen steals the inbounds pass and takes it to the cup for two. But it's Ruskin winning this one, 79-62.
We have some length, we have some longer athletic guys, and when they're engaged, we can have big spurts where we have high turnover rates for the other team. I was pleased with the extra pass, the rotations. I thought third quarter we really came out defensively and played for each other, and then they shared the ball, and we got the result we wanted.
Liberty and Park Hill also squared off in the William Jewell Holiday Classic. Liberty's Javion Byers slashes to the rim and finds Jermaine Booker for the bucket. Then later on, Park Hill's Drew Townsend gets the steal right here. Give me that. The Trojans going the other way. It's Anthony Hall. He gets the easy bucket underneath. But Liberty retaliates. It's Jermaine Booker popping the ball loose. And Javion Byers this time with the finish. Liberty wins 62-53.
We got to the rim really well this afternoon, and I think that was a big difference. We got to get to the free throw line better, but just getting at the rim was beneficial to us today. They're a tough team to defend, and I thought they did our guys did a really nice job with that.
All right, to football now. The Chiefs are headed to the playoffs, but first they've got one more regular season game in front of them. They would like to keep the good times rolling against those Los Angeles Chargers. Their game is a noon kickoff later on today. The defense, well, first, they started to turn things around the last time these two faced each other in Mexico City 5 weeks ago. However, this team cannot sleep on the Chargers. They're not in the playoff hunt, and they have nothing to lose.
And then from there is just, formation recognition. This is their last game of the season. They don't have anything to play for after this. So we're expecting some gimmick plays, but I think they're going to line up, do what they do best, and ultimately try to play hard to really beat us.
Well, sticking with football, there are 4 teams still vying for a college football national championship. However, 2 will be left standing after today. It's number 1 LSU and number 4 Oklahoma in the first semifinal. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, LSU had a field day against Oklahoma. They destroyed the Sooners last night 63-28 to advance to the national championship game on January 13th. Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow showed the nation why he's the best player in the country. He was 29 of 39 for 493 yards, passing 7 passing touchdowns with 1 rushing touchdown. His 8 total total TDs were the most ever in a bowl game and the most in SEC history. And speaking of great games, Clemson and Ohio State came down to basically the last part of the fourth quarter, and what a game that was.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning on our KB Complete Skyview Network. It is dry outside. It's dry out at Arrowhead. We have a low overcast. Stratocumulus clouds are going to be with us all day long. No rain, no snowflakes today, but tonight, well, that could be a different story. As I said, the roads are mostly dry. Temperatures are dropping slowly. It's 40 degrees. A west-southwest wind 17, gusting to 26. That makes it feel like temperature right now 31, but with that gust, it drops into the 20s. Later on today, when temperatures are in the 30s, wind chills will be in the teens and 20s. So is it going to snow? Well, let's take a look at this. A storm system is organizing in the upper Midwest. The rain from yesterday is now way off to the east in Michigan, down towards Memphis, Tennessee. Some pretty heavy snow from northern Minnesota into Nebraska. And this little disturbance right here, northeast of Grand Island, once the storm really gets organized to the north, it'll start to track southeast and rotate around the main storm towards Kansas City and weaken. Now, will it weaken fast enough so that we just have a few snowflakes, or will it be too weakened slow enough where we get a little coating of snow and we could have some slick spots tonight? Well, on the new data, let's take a look at this at noon today. Just windy, cloudy, and cold, temperatures in the 30s. And then at 5 o'clock, look at this. There's an area of snow. Northwest corner of Missouri, approaching Topeka. Temperatures here still above freezing. And then between 5 and 9 p.m., it moves right in. So at 9 p.m., we are in this little band of snow with temperatures just below freezing. If this is all it is and then it rapidly dissipates and temperatures fall just below freezing, probably not going to be any issues. What it needs to be to have slick spots is a little bit more than this, and temperatures a little bit colder. Will the new data help through the day? It will, but what we're really going to have to do as we get into the evening is kind of go hour by hour. We call it nowcasting, looking at the radar trends, looking at the air and surface temperatures, because it's such a fine line between nothing at all, a few snowflakes, a little tint of white on the grass, to some legitimate slick roads later tonight. So something we'll be watching closely. After midnight, regardless of what happens, it'll all fall apart. Maybe a few snowflakes in the morning. Temperatures will be in the 20s. It'll be windy and cold, and through the day tomorrow, only in the 30s. We're still under the influence of the storm with all the clouds. And then on New Year's Eve, really not a bad day. The storm moves away. Temperatures here will be around 40 degrees. Pretty quiet across the country. Around here, when we bring in 2020, it'll be around 28 to 30. And then January 1st, it'll be really nice. Upper 40s, low 50s. And then January 2nd and 3rd, well, there is a storm system to watch. Not a lot of cold air with it. Possibility of a little bit of rain or wet snow. We'll have to see how this evolves, or it'll be well to the south and miss us completely. So something to keep in mind towards the end of the week. So for today, about 35 to 40 all day long. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold. Wind chill 15 to 25. Tonight, 28. Chance of snow showers and flurries. A dusting is possible. Again, we'll kind of just have to monitor it. Will it be enough to cause a few slick spots? And then tomorrow, 35, mostly cloudy, windy, and cold. The wind chill in the morning could be around 10, and during the day in the teens and 20s. And then on the 7-day forecast, New Year's Eve is 41. In the evening, though, it'll be around 30 into the 20s. New Year's Day in the low 50s before that next system arrives Thursday and Friday. So really not that bad here for the end of one year and the beginning of another.
Got a real roller coaster going on with our weather right now.
A little roller coaster, but it could be a lot worse than this.
Something to remember.
Yes.
Jeff, thank you very much. All right, following some breaking news right now, I want you to take a live look. This is at 70 eastbound before Blue Ridge Cutoff. There is a crash that we know is involving 3 vehicles in the westbound lanes. We know that it involves a sedan and 2 SUVs. As you can see right now, 2 of the left lanes are closed. You can see a large traffic build up right now as people try to get around all of this. So we are continuing to follow this situation. No word yet on any injuries, but we are making phone calls on it. But something to keep in mind if you are traveling on 70 around Blue Ridge Cutoff, there's a lot of traffic right now in this area, so just beware. 41 Action News continues after the break. 8:25 on this Sunday. KC Pet Project is moving into its new 54,000 square foot facility and is bringing its first round of pets inside. From more kennels to additional space outside, it's a big change from their old environment on Raytown Road.
Over there, you know, it's 200 dogs in one room that were barking in the old shelter, and here you walked into the animal rooms and you honestly wouldn't know if there was a dog in there.
KC Pet Project says the soft opening is set for January 1st, with the official opening happening on January 24th. Overland Park will host the Kansas City Esports Expo in 2020, so the city surprised one girl with tickets to the event for Christmas. The reaction, priceless. Take a listen.
No way! You got me ticket to the Esports Gaming Expo? I can't believe it.
That expo is at Overland Park Convention Center on January 3rd through the 5th. Amazing seeing that reaction. All right, well, you're taking a live look right now at Arrowhead. We'll have more coverage of the Chiefs coming up after the break.
You're watching 41 Action News.
8:29 on this Sunday. Good morning and welcome back to 41 Action News. Happy game day, Kansas City. It's a big one for the Chiefs. Final home game of the season. We have team coverage, everything you need to know, from the stadium to, of course, weather. There's a lot going on, so let's start first with Jeff Penner with a look at the forecast for all those people that are going to be heading out to the game today.
Thanks, Bryant. Yeah, won't need an umbrella, but definitely dress in layers. We have an overcast sky. No precipitation during the game, and it's going to be cold out there. It's around 40 degrees right now. It'll fall a few degrees through the day. Wind chill values in the teens and 20s, 56 right now in St. Louis. That won't last too long. 20s in Nebraska where there is snow falling. Very interesting setup. We have a storm in the northern plains, and there's another system coming out of the south with rain rapidly developing in Texas. That piece of energy is going to ride northward and re-energize the storm and have it reform and intensify over the Great Lakes. And as that is occurring, the snow will continue in Minnesota, into the Dakotas, and into Nebraska. But there is a system in Nebraska right now that will begin to rotate southeast as the whole storm reorganizes, and the snow will also be coming southeast as well. The question is how much snow will get here by the time the system arrives, because it'll be weakening, falling apart shortly thereafter. Will it be enough to cause road issues? We'll look at some of the new data coming in here in a few minutes. But out at Arrowhead, 40 degrees right now, mostly cloudy, windy, and colder. At 10 a.m. it'll be 40. At noon, 38, 37 at 3 p.m. Windy, cold, cloudy, wind chill values in the teens and 20s. We'll look at that chance for snow tonight. A few snowflakes or slick roads. We'll have all that coming up.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Well, it wouldn't be a game at Arrowhead Stadium without dedicated tailgaters out hours before the game. That's where we find 41 Action News reporter Nick Starling.
Hey there, Brian. There's a lot of fun happening outside Arrowhead Stadium as a lot of fans are out here hours before the game. We're joined by Virgil, and you are from Springfield. You took the trip up here to see the game.
Absolutely.
Describe the experience being inside Arrowhead Stadium and outside here as you guys are tailgating.
We absolutely love coming up here. We've been coming up here for about 10 years now and tailgating every year.
What's it been like as a Chiefs fan the past few years? Because now, you know, we have Patrick Mahomes, and we've been winning lately, obviously, making the playoffs. What's it like to being a Chiefs fan?
We were Chiefs fan when, you know, during the poor years. But, yeah, we just been a blast, and we've really enjoyed watching and seeing the team progress from year to year and get better and better.
Do you have any predictions for the game today?
Well, of course, we're going to win.
Any score predictions?
I don't know, 50-0.
And then, of course, making a playoff. So this isn't the final home game for the Chiefs. You know, they have the playoffs with whatever team that may be, right? So is there anybody you would like to come visit here at Arrowhead?
Well, I'd love to see the Patriots back.
And for your tailgate here, what can people experience?
We just throw a variety of everything on the grill, and we've got burgers, brats, and chicken wings, and you name it, we probably have it.
Sounds and alcohol, as the one back there said. Trying to keep yourselves warm. It is a little bit chilly outside, so make sure you are bundled up if you come out here to Arrowhead Stadium. Reporting at Arrowhead Stadium, Nick Starling, 41 Action News.
All right, the folks are ready for this game. Now, if you want to go to today's last regular season home game, you're in luck. Tickets are still available. There are seats as low as $80 in the upper deck. Just head to Ticketmaster's website and browse their seating chart to see what's still available. Again, kickoff is at noon. The parking lot will open in just under an hour, and the stadium gates will open up at 10. 2019 saw a lot of questions for our city. Who will lead it? Will justice be served? And what is the fate of some of the biggest questions impacting our city's future? 41 Action News anchor Dia Wall takes us through the year's many questions and the answers we still need.
2019 started with many people in the dark. The federal government shut down right before Christmas.
Mr. President, President Trump, if you want to open the government, you must abandon the wall. Plain and simple.
800,000 workers uncertain when they would see another paycheck.
I feel a little bit like political pawns right now.
35 days later, it came to an end. Uncertainty continued. In January, the future of a brand new KCI terminal was up in the air.
Do we have an agreement? Do we not? Where are we?
Continued delays to break ground on construction as airlines debated over the financing agreement. March 25th, it finally took off. An uncertain future for a city losing its mayor. Who would take the reins to lead Kansas City into the next decade? Jolie Justice or Quentin Lucas? Either candidate would make history. The first openly gay mayor or the youngest mayor in living memory? With votes counted, the uncertainty came to an end. Mayor Quentin Lucas tasked with making Kansas City a better place to live in 2020. With the city's future leadership decided, a part of the city's past became uncertain. City leaders voted to change the Paseo to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Those living along that street pushed back.
I think he should be honored. I just don't think they should take Paseo to do it.
And forced a public vote on the issue. Months later, the street's fate was sealed. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard would go back to being called the Paseo.
When you don't listen to your constituents, which is the main message here, when we don't listen to our constituents, things like this will happen.
How to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is now uncertain, with more discussions expected in 2020. Uncertainty was also a key theme for some people's lives.
I'll continue to fight till my very last breath.
Ricky Kidd, a man wrongly convicted, spent 23 years of his life in prison.
Usually when there's a no, it's going to be a no all the way out.
Uncertain if he would ever be free again. His day of reckoning finally came.
We dreamed for this day. I've dreamed for this day over the past 23 years, and it's finally here.
Free to start a new dream with one goal in mind for 2020.
I just think it's important for them to know that innocence is real, it exists in this country, and to have an open eye towards it.
And the year ended with the same uncertainty it started with.
Things are going to get tight. They want us to fold, but fold we will not.
Thousands of United Auto workers with General Motors went on strike, demanding better pay, job security, and health care. Days and weeks went by, leaving workers uncertain about their future.
I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know how long it's going to last.
Nearly 6 weeks without work, their fight paid off with a new contract for the next few years. 2019 filled with uncertainty for so many people. Now it's a distant memory as we move into the uncertainty of 2020.
We're tracking an area of snow in Nebraska, and there is some uncertainty with this. Will it move into Kansas City and bring a few snowflakes, or enough to cause some road issues? We'll look at the new data coming up.
Welcome back, everyone. The number of multiples born in the U.S. is at an all-time high. And with the rise of multiple births, there can be an increase in moms having a high-risk pregnancy. That's this week's Your Health Matters report.
Up to 15 million babies were born prematurely in 2018. Medical advances have increased the baby's survivability. Reasons for early delivery are varied, and many start with the mother's health. Some of the risk factors include high blood pressure, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, and multiple births.
Those are all complications of pregnancies that affect mom, but also increase the risk of prematurity.
By definition, prematurity is when a baby doesn't make it to 39 weeks gestation. With prenatal care, the risk signs can be addressed by doctors, but there is one key thing mothers-to-be need to do.
It's also important that moms are having an open and honest discussion with their OBs when they're not feeling well. Typically there'll be a detailed ultrasound around 20 weeks.
Twins, triplets, and quads are higher risk pregnancies and are at risk for prematurity. Complications can occur when twin babies share a placenta, ranging from the unequal sharing of the placenta, where one twin gets more from the placenta, affecting the other twin's growth.
When you have two babies sharing a placenta, nature doesn't just divide it in two and say you get half, you get half.
A more serious problem is twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. That's when the sharing of the placenta is taken to an extreme and blood flow is disrupted between the twins.
That flow can become unbalanced, and then one twin is getting too much blood and the other twin doesn't have enough blood.
If unchecked, this can become fatal for one baby, prompting need for fetal surgery.
That's where we can intervene by going in with a laser and photocoagulating the connections between the two twins and disrupting that flow so that the flow becomes balanced between the two twins.
And it's procedures like this that attribute to the survival rate of premature births.
Babies that are born at certain levels of prematurity now are fairly routine in their care. Now, in instances where the babies don't make it to 39 weeks, and we have an entire multidisciplinary team that function out of our neonatal intensive care unit to help support those babies and give them the best chances of having a good outcome.
And with multiple births continuing to rise, early and comprehensive health care for both mother and baby are even more important. I'm Tom Dempsey for Your Health Matters.
Good morning, everybody. The Mavericks hockey team having another great season on the ice, and while they're a story all on their own, one of their players has an inspirational story to share about perseverance and never giving up. The Kansas City Mavericks are certainly an exciting team to watch. Night after night, the crowd is treated to some fantastic hockey. Mavs defenseman and 25-year-old Alaska native Justin Woods is one of the team leaders. Coaches and players alike say Justin's a pro's pro.
He's always first one in the morning. He gets his workout in. He takes care of himself as a pro. He always checks in with Nick. He's always checking in with coaches. He does everything the right way.
For Justin, his lunch pail mentality is the right way, and that's been on full display ever since he joined the Mavs last July. But he says that's been his approach everywhere he's gone.
As long as I'm doing the work and stuff like that, I mean, I feel like I have a good opportunity and a good chance to make most teams in this league. But yeah, I mean, my time here in Kansas City has been really special. This organization is by far the best I've ever seen, and so I'm very proud to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm just going to keep working hard and contributing.
It's undeniable that hockey is Justin's first love, but several years ago, that was all put on hold. In 2014, after his freshman year of college at Alaska Fairbanks, Justin had surgery to remove a cyst in his right knee. After additional screening, doctors unexpectedly discovered an abnormality and diagnosed Justin with Ewing's sarcoma.
It's a rare childhood bone and soft tissue cancer, and so it's common in young adults and children.
Justin underwent 9 months of chemotherapy and 1 month of radiation at Seattle Children's Hospital. He lost his hair. He lost his appetite. His body broke down. He even
had a few thoughts that I might not return to the ice, but I never once had the thought where I might lose this battle to Ewing sarcoma. I might lose this battle to cancer.
It takes a toll on people mentally, right? Like, it's a scary, scary thing. I think it's touched everyone's lives in one way or another. But talking to Justin, not a chance that I would ever have thought that he ever went through something like that.
After all the treatments, Justin's cancer went into remission in February 2015. He soon returned to the ice and never looked back. And while he still has regular checkups, his final checkup happens in January 2020.
5 years, if you get up to that point, you're considered cured. And so that's a very, very big stepping stone for me. And so hopefully just try and stay healthy and just go there with a good attitude and see what happens.
He's not afraid to share his story, but he's a very forward-looking individual, and it's how do I help the Mavericks, how do I stay healthy, and he's just been a great force for us in that regard.